My name is Tom Berry, and I've been a patient of Dr. Winters for 7 months. I'd like to back up a little bit to kind of give you a little history of how I became to be a patient of Dr. Winters. Back in October of 2012, I basically was in really good health. My physician told me that I was one of the most boring patients that he had because I was on no medicine, had no problems with anything that people typically have problems with. And up until that time, I was good. I was in very good health. And then all of a sudden, I started having issues one day. I wasn't feeling well, and went to the emergency room and barely could walk in the emergency room. And they were concerned that I had heart-related problems, so I was admitted and had every heart test known to mankind done while I was there, and it showed nothing. And then about a few weeks later, I was having digestive issues, so I started down that path of having all these tests run. I had scopes run, a couple of those. I had other colonoscopy done. I had a test where I swallowed a camera and it went through my system to try to figure out what was wrong. So I saw various medical doctors in a short period of time, and they determined nothing at that juncture. So they proceeded to do some cancer tests on me, which all proved negative, fortunately. And then I went to Vanderbilt twice, and they put me on some medicine that really didn't do much good for me. My problem was every time I ate, I hurt. And it was very painful, and I lost 25 pounds in about 4 weeks. So I was obviously very concerned about the rapid weight loss, and I caught everything that came down the pike basically. That winter I had shingles, I had bronchitis, and I also had problems related to bronchitis that I had to take medicine for, and that hurt my immune system because it does good and bad things to you. And I just was sick all the time. I didn't feel good, and then it went away for a little bit and it would come back, and I was really getting very frustrated after about 9 months of no real medical answers. No answers. Everybody tried to prescribe medicine to help me, which helped my pain to a degree, but no real answers were ever given to me for the nature of my problem, which continued. So I had a friend who I go to church with, Jana. She kept saying, "You really need to go see Dr. Winters." And I'm like, "Well, I'm still seeing these guys here." She said, "You really need to go see him. He can really help you." I'm like, "Yeah, right, okay." But eventually I became frustrated to the point where I was going nowhere fast. So last July, I called Dr. Winters' office and talked with Debbie, and she told me about this online survey I need to complete, and also to submit my medical records. And I had those at the ready, and I did the survey, and I faxed in my medical records, and she called me back in about an hour and a half later, asked me if I could come in that afternoon. So I said, yes, I can. So I came in and talked to the staff here, and they were very friendly, very cordial, and very understanding of my problems and my frustration level at this point. And Dr. Winters, the first thing he told me, he said, "We want people to go to the medical doctors first to make sure you've covered your bases before we really see you as a patient," which I understand that and agree totally with that. And I had done that, and he saw my records and he said, "I think I can help you." He said, "I'll tell you if I can or cannot help you, but I really believe I can." And the thing that impressed me about Dr. Winters and the staff is they're just not wanting to give you medicine or prescriptions for things or just administer medicine. They want to find the root cause of the problem that you have as a patient. And no one else had ever done that. All the doctors I saw, no one really was after the root cause like he was. So we started down a few paths, and the first couple didn't really pan out, but he said he may have tried 3 or 4 times before he found the right path to go down. So about a month after I started coming, he told me about a test that I could take, had to do with metals. He suspected I might have some problems with my metals content in my body. So I said, "Yeah, I'll do the test." He said, "It's not covered by insurance." I said, "That's fine, I'll pay for it." And the test results came back. He called me and said, "You need to come in here, I've got something." So I came in, and the test results showed me that I had a highly elevated level of mercury in my system. And I said, "Well, what would mercury do?" He said, "Mercury can do a lot of things with your immune system. It can really play havoc with it." I said, "Well, where's this mercury coming from?" And he said that I had these old fillings, amalgam-based fillings, which are mercury-based, that were causing me to possibly have this mercury exposure. And we delved into it a little bit, and he gave me some stuff to try to help. And I had blood tests run in the meantime, several blood tests that he ran, few, and I had others run that indicated I had hypoparathyroidism. So I went to a specialist to see about that. And in the meantime, while I was seeing Dr. Winters, and the test confirmed that, and I went back about 2 months after that, and I was taking some supplements here, and my levels were normal. And that the condition I have was type 2, which is not treatable. And all of a sudden it was normal in 2 months. So they released me the endocrinologist released me because I had normal levels at that point, which the only thing I did was see Dr. Winters. He's the only person I saw in between visits. So I know what I was on here helped me get to that level. And then he prescribed some other thing, we went down some paths with this mercury poisoning. He said it's from your fillings. I have 9 fillings, and I had to have all those. He said, you need to get them replaced once your immune system gets back to halfway normal. And that took a little bit of time to do that, but he was very cautious, and we proceeded slowly because my immune system was very volatile, and it makes me quite sick when it gets really bad. So we scheduled an appointment with Dr. Wortham, who has the equipment, he said, to handle my dental work I needed. So I went to see Dr. Wortham for an evaluation, and he showed me cracks in my fillings and where the possible mercury vapors could be leaking into my system, which was contributing to my poisoning in my system, the mercury levels I had. And he showed me all this, and then I went back there in November. I went to have 5 of my fillings done, and then in January I had the other 4 done. So basically I finished that work about a month ago, and in December I could notice a difference in that I wasn't tasting any metals taste in my mouth that I had tasted before, and I could eat without too much pain, sometimes pain-free, and that was stuff I haven't experienced well over a year. So things were definitely getting better. I still have some problems that I have to deal with the mercury in my system, but I know that I'm not getting any more in my system from the fillings because they've all been replaced with porcelain fillings. And now my objective is to, once I get my immune system settled to the point where Dr. Winters can administer this reagent, which will bind my mercury, once that's done, it'll bind my mercury, and through normal body processes will remove it. That process will probably take about another 6 months, but I'm way further ahead than where I was before. And basically, due to Dr. Winters, the thing he impressed me the most was he wants to get to the cause of it. He goes the extra mile to help people, because one particular moment, I remember he exposed me to that reagent, and I had a really severe reaction to it because I wasn't ready for it. And I was getting ready to go out and I called him on the way home because I didn't really react until on the way home, and I was getting ready to take a trip out of state the next day, and that was his day off. And he called me, and he told me on the phone he would come in at 9 o'clock that morning to meet me on his day off so that he could evaluate me and know what I needed to do when I was going on this trip out of town. Most doctors will not do that. He calls me we've talked to him on weekends. I've had to call him a couple of times. He doesn't mind that. And he has called me to check on me at nights, weekends. And I feel like he's been a very, very big help to me in this endeavor, and given me answers that nobody else could give me. And I think we're definitely on the right path to cure this. It's just going to take some more time. And I appreciate the efforts of Dr. Winters and his caring staff here, and I encourage you to try him out and see what he can do for you.